We're back. We're back. Everyone here?
We are here.
Yep.
Logan, you here?
Accounted for.
Accounted for? All right. Let's get started. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Drunkscussions. Today, I'm joined with Logan and Paul. Paul, what are you drinking on today, buddy?
I actually have to give a little bit of a shout out. I have a good friend. We all know him, Burke. He's been on the podcast before. He gave me some Rebel Cath Strength to try. I have the private select in the distilleries collection, but not the Cath Strength, and it is fantastic.
Kept thinking you were saying calf, like a baby cow.
Yeah, it's calf strength. No, it's cast strength.
Gotta get your leg days in with calf strength. What are you drinking on, Logan?
I'm having some Maker's Mark.
Maker's
Just
Mark?
some regular old Maker's Mark.
Very nice. I am T-minus 1 week late for this baby, so it could be due any minute, any hour, any day. So I'm drinking on Diet Coke and sparkling flavored water, naturally flavored coffee flavor. It is god awful, but it's something other than water. I could just drink water, but that's too hard.
I mean, it makes sense, though. You shouldn't be drinking right now. That is a big man responsibility. You have a child that's potentially going to be popped out any moment.
Yeah. I mean, there is a possibility that during the live stream, the water could break, right? Or contractions start happening every 4 minutes, and I'm like, all right, peace, love y'all, and that's it.
Right, and then me and Logan have to continue on without you.
Is that a foot behind you?
That is a foot.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm actually at Burke's place today. So we were watching some football and drinking, doing some bourbon tasting. And I was like, you know what? Your PC doesn't cut out. So can I use it? So I'm using his right now.
Nice. How's your guys' week? Anything crazy happen?
Nothing crazy. Learned some new stuff about cars, but other than that, pretty standard week. Had a good week.
Ooh, cars?
I like
we
cars.
all love cars.
Anything crazy in the car world going on, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's actually one car that I found out about that's really cool. It's the called the VISION AVTR. It's a Mercedes car, and it's a concept car.
Really?
It originally, like, the prototype came out in 2020, but they were supposed to release it this year. And get this, all right? I know you haven't seen the vehicle yet. I'm gonna show it to you, but keep in mind it's supposed to MSRP at $76,000.
Oh, that's financially affordable.
Better
I mean,
than most Mercedes.
For a Mercedes, it's not bad if we're talking about. I mean, just wait till you see the car, though.
Okay,
That's the thing.
fair enough.
The little bit of backstory. It's actually, the team that worked on the Avatar movie,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the James Cameron movie.
That's coming out, the new one in December.
Yeah, that one. Mercedes worked with the team from Avatar to make this vehicle.
You know how you start the car? You got to put your dick in it, and that's how they connect. Just hook up your ponytail.
Is it blue too?
No.
Oh.
Yes.
Of course it is. We'll get into it after the intro. So let's go ahead and roll it.
What happened was we got caught up in a drunk discussion, and then he burned the bacon.
Where we talk about everything and know nothing.
You know what I mean? So it kind of seems like a win-win-win.
Here's Gerald.
Here's
Telling everybody I'm dead.
Just draw a dick on it. It's not offensive. It's a dick. Everyone's got a dick nowadays.
Dude, tell me more, because I don't know anything about it.
Oh, a flapper's a 1920s dancer, you motherfucker.
Got a lot of bagels. I like my bagels. Chug 30.
Cheers. Salud.
I mean, this shit's free, right? Monday morning. Chime on in.
Tranquility Base.
Discussions.
The Eagle has landed.
I think I saw a TikTok with that. Anyways, welcome back. We've actually we're streaming Saturday 6 p.m. We switched because Paul's playing football, and
I'm not playing football. I'm coaching football. Which PSB won, by the way, over this past Friday.
Oh, did you guys win?
We did in overtime. It was a hell of a win.
What was the score?
34-28, I think is what the final was. We won it in
wow.
overtime. Defense had a stop to win the game on the 5-yard line.
Nice.
First overtime?
Yeah, in overtime. Yeah.
Nice.
But that car, I'm pretty sure I saw, what's her name? Like Exotic Car Baby or whatever her
Mm,
name is on TikTok.
Supercar Blondie.
That's what it is. Super Car Blondie. She did a thing on it, and those back um, levels or whatever pop open for
The
aerodynamics
baffles.
and stuff. Baffles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
the
car
panels.
is wild.
So
Isn't
those panels go not only up and down, but they will tilt left and right as well
right.
in all
So
directions.
are those wheels complete concept wheels too? Because they're like circular, aren't they?
Yeah, so this car actually crab walks.
Shut the fuck up.
No, I'm deadly serious. It crab walks. It goes side to side. And wait till you see the interior.
So
It's gonna blow your mind.
we got a crip walking car.
Yep.
Huh.
It'll go side to side, bro.
Is there
So
interior photos of this?
this is a side look at it, but yes, there is interior photos. These doors are made of glass, entirely of glass.
Okay, so you're sitting in like what looks like a cocoon.
Yep.
And I like the James Cameron artwork going on around it.
You see these lights here too?
Mm-hmm.
I'll show a video here in a minute, but these lights, the faster you go, the faster they move backwards.
That's fucking badass.
So that it's like a raindrop kind of, an LED raindrop that comes backwards and changes based on how fast you're driving. But you could see here, this is like the mother tree. That's
Yeah.
kind of the look they're going for here, if you've seen the movies. This is pretty cool too. So if you know anything about Teslas, the Plaid, which is their fastest model,
Right.
is 250 kilowatts of power.
So this is
Output.
100
So
kilowatts more of output.
it's
is
a
350.
all electric then, or
Fully electric, 4 electric motors in this vehicle.
so? If I was right when I was watching this is going to be a very large autonomous driving vehicle, correct? Where like it's almost better than Tesla's autonomy, where it's going to drive it more in a sense it's users for itself. Like you can sit back and kind of relax and like pop the fucking seat up, right? Or no?
So you can drive this vehicle. I believe that they're looking at making this a vehicle that it's a driverless vehicle. I think right now though, it is controlled by the driver.
That's
But I'll
sweet.
show you the interior.
So
Um,
are they planning on mass producing this car sort of on the scale that Tesla's done it?
There's no way they could.
I doubt it. I think that this is going to be more of like this is basically a supercar. It's a Mercedes supercar, but
So if it's going to be a supercar, if you mind me interrupting, sorry, how are they going to hit that price range? There's no way they're going to be able to hit that 70 whatever price range you said and be it a supercar and be a whole new concept, top of the line vehicle and being a $75,000 price tag. I feel like that's just they're saying that to grab attention. Am I wrong?
Mercedes did not come out and say that.
Huh.
Mercedes did not say MSRP on this vehicle is going
Ah.
to be $76,000. It has been rumored that the vehicle would be $76,000 MSRP.
With a
This
dealer
could be a
markup of 500 grand.
yeah, this could be a $1 million car for all I know.
500% markup.
But something really cool about these is we've actually talked about in the past electric vehicles and the batteries, what it takes to actually make a battery, all of the raw materials that go into it.
Being in the industry now that we make the batteries, it's pretty wild actually. It's eye opening on the shit that we have to do, at least with these cells. So like the cells are mass produced, right? Like Tesla, General Motors, Ford, all these companies are not specifically making their own battery. They're outsourcing to companies like the one I work for who specialize in making the automation to make that battery for them. And they're all the same. And like, I'll tell you what, I don't know how we're going to be able to have vehicles pass our standard for our collision standard, because like you have to realize you have one cell. One cell has thousands of lithium ion batteries, and all it takes is two of those cells gently touching each other, and it goes catastrophic. And like they literally fault out. And next thing you know, you have a battery going up in flames that burns at thousands of degrees. We had one battery where it took almost 6 hours to put it out. So I really, based on the wreckage, I don't understand how we can have a safe wreck with battery vehicles. It blows my mind.
Like the Hammond incident. You remember that? He was it the Rycan or something like that? It was the electric vehicle that Hammond, was it Hammond? Something Top Gear. You know what I'm talking about. Richard
The
Hammond.
Rivian?
Yeah, the Rivian. He was test driving the Rivian, and he went off the course, and the car
Yeah, he did.
rolled, and it caught on fire. It exploded. It's fucking terrified. Imagine having to deal
Well, I
with
mean,
that. But
as far as safety goes, too, though, you have to think about the fact that these vehicles are carrying human beings that they need to keep safe. So it can't be too much of a task to come up with a system to protect the battery. I mean,
uh,
you got roll cages for humans. What about steel
Right. But
reinforcements in the
think about
engine
it.
bay?
Think about it this way, right? So we had one where the battery fell from the lift. So the robot goes over, it has suctions, it picks the battery up, and it goes over to this table where it aligns and has all these lasers to make sure that all of the tabs are correct and in alignment so they're good enough to be loaded. It's called modular unload and modular inload. It dropped 6 inches, Logan. It fell off the robot 6 inches, and 2 batteries were able to touch, and it went catastrophic. Can you imagine a high speed incident where at 60 miles an hour you hit a telephone or in another vehicle? Like, I'm sorry, I do not see a safe way of having these batteries not being able to touch each other at a high speed impact and
Yeah,
going
it would almost
catastrophic.
be like putting a highly flammable liquid in a vehicle and driving it at high speeds. That'd be pretty crazy too.
It is, and I mean that's what it is with combustion engines, but you have to have that combustion, and even that, gasoline or petroleum vehicles, when they catch on fire, they're easy to extinguish. The problem with lithium-ion batteries is they're not. You have to use CO2 powered, yeah, what are they called? I'm having such a brain fart. Fucking fire
extinguishers.
extinguishers, and even that, we had a fire extinguisher for CO2 power. It took them 5 hours, Logan, with CO2 powered fire extinguisher to put out one battery cell.
Oh, better
Man,
get out of the
Average
car
car
quick.
has 8.
I mean, you've seen PCs run it in a fishbowl, right, with mineral oil. What if you had an extinguishing system that just floods the entire battery compartment with mineral oil in the event there's a collision?
Which
Look at
that would
that.
be awesome. But then
We
think
already
about that, you're
solved it, and we're
driving
not even
around
engineers.
but you're driving around with a reservoir of fucking mineral oil constantly. That's added weight. And you know how car manufacturers are. Less weight, more power. Like that's just how they go.
Anyways, while Paul's actually learned something at work, and Logan, I really enjoyed that smart ass response about cars and combustion engines. That was fucking hilarious. Let's talk
Fuck
more
you.
about this avatar. All right, so you've got a car with glass doors. For starters,
Oh
like,
yeah.
how do those even open? Is it like a butterfly wing door, or do you know?
Yeah. So they're thinking that it's modeled after like an insect's wings. So you know how they can be translucent.
Yeah,
So they go up in the air and kind of give that look to it.
that'd be so
So
dope.
it flies down the road and the doors open. It looks like wings. But okay, so really quickly, the whole reason that I mentioned the battery in
Mhm.
the first place and how much raw materials it takes is because this electric vehicle is going to have a graphene based organic cell chemistry. So
Oh, that's different.
it completely eliminates rare toxic metals like in metals.
Right.
Um and they are 100% recyclable as well because of the
Ooh,
materiality. So,
that's a cutting edge actually. That's something that's new that we've not seen in the world of market going EV. That's actually different. I like that.
yeah, it's pretty huge that they've been able to do that. I don't know how they're doing it, and I'm sure that there is something that has been left out of that equation that we don't know about, but either way, it's a step in the right direction, I think.
I mean, if you think about it,
Absolutely.
even with Tesla, the reason why they're able to continue bringing the cost of their vehicles down is because they're mass producing it. If hypothetically it comes out as a $76,000 car, I would imagine they'd have some type of aspect of mass producing it. But if that organic battery method is a cheaper, more effective method to creating batteries rather than having little tiny children mine in a lithium mine, yeah, I could see how it could be cost effective. That is such a gorgeous looking car, though.
It
Isn't it?
is definitely future. It's almost like Tron. Like you guys saw Tron, right? It reminds me of Tron with those wheels lighting up and everything. I have just questions on the wheels. Like, are they still made of rubber? Like, based on the structure, how do they work? Because they don't look like they're mounted directly to the car.
They are, but I have the same question. Uh, I wonder how they're able to make it crab walk with these wheels. I
Because
really
then
don't know.
it would have to be a completely different drive differential and everything in order for it to do that. Because like normal crab walk, the whole wheels will turn, but there's not a lot of turning with that kind of layout.
There's no way
Yeah, I
this
don't know.
car would be 76. I mean, even look at the charging capabilities of it. You can fully recharge in less than 15 minutes, and that's 700 kilometers. So 470 miles on
Wait
a
a
charge.
second. Wait a second. Did you say it'll full charge in 15
15
minutes?
minutes.
That's
or less.
life change. That's changing. There's no. I would have to see it to believe it myself. That's a lot. A lot of car companies have come out and said or promised us a lot of things and then not fulfilled upon this. We have yet to have a car manufacturer actually be able to come out and say that it's going to take 15 minutes to charge your vehicle. I ain't gonna believe that till I see it.
I think we should have a shot. Cheers. As I drink my coffee water.
Cheers. Yeah, drink your coffee water. But like, even Tesla came out and said
Oh.
that their car would take like 45 minutes to an hour to charge for a full charge, and it's longer than that.
Tell you
They
what.
When
lie.
did Teslas come out though? A decade ago?
Yeah.
Well, no, that's the new one, like their newest model, Logan. Not like the Model 1 or P1. Like this is their new Model 3 that they released, and they said that, and it still doesn't hold up to that capability.
Where the
They
fuck
haven't even changed them.
where do your legs go in this thing? Like, I'm looking at this interior photo. It looks like a maxi pad for a seat pushed right up against the dash.
It's much bigger than it looks in this photo.
That's what she said.
I just want to know, do they lean back? Because those seats look like straight bucket seats. There's
I
no
think I
leaning
just-
back in that.
Did I just hear a wheeze in the room?
Fucking.
Did because me and Burke are laughing our ass off.
It looks
right now.
like somebody took a futuristic sports cup and said, "You know what? Let's just enlarge this and put somebody's ass in it." I wonder if it's got good absorption rate in those seats.
Stop.
Stop.
For the heaviest of
Got
flows.
the high class air filter.
I swear to God. Well, you guys know it's the World of Water or whatever is the next Avatar, right?
Yeah, it comes out in December. I cannot
You're
wait.
gonna see these cars in there, and there's gonna be a comment. They're gonna be like, "Look at those seats. I bet they have a good absorption rate." And then like a flow of water, and James Cameron's critters come flowing through.
I
Wait.
like what you said though. Like, where do your feet go? Because like those look like you have no place to put your foot.
I love
Here's
that.
the thing. These cars in general, whether you're talking like any
concept
super hypercar out right now, you're talking about a max height, like preferred max height of like 6'3".
Yeah.
I feel like that's
six
even a
people who are-
stretch.
Look at Shaq. Shaq's riding around in a Buick. All right.
Hey, don't hate on the Buick, bro. Those
I don't hate
Encores
on the
have
Buicks.
more room than you would think.
But you don't like you're not 6'10" riding around in this vehicle, or any other super hyper car. You're just gonna be, unless it's a convertible, and then you just always have to drive with the top down.
Right, and if you wreck it, there is a high probability of you getting absolutely smushed.
Oh, okay. So
Look
they
at that.
slide back. Those do look super comfy.
Look at that.
Look at the
They
dash.
almost look like the insole of a shoe. Like,
Yeah,
you know
this
when
is-
you look at the insole of a shoe, it looks like that.
like a Dr. Scholl's.
I mean, it is even the light blue colored of that dash is Dr. Scholl's.
Right.
All right,
I mean,
look,
I wonder if it's
let's
memory
say-
foam. It's memory foam. Get out of here.
No. This is vegan leather.
Vegan leather.
Vegan leather.
I'm serious. That's what they call it. Vegan leather.
I had these gummies that were vegan gummies. How the fuck do you make gelatin
So look,
vegan? That doesn't
look.
make sense. Anyways.
You can't. I mean, it's such an
got-
oxymoron.
do you see that this says it's color changing fabric?
Yeah, I see that.
Depending on the light, it changes color from dark blue to a light blue. And they have vegan Dynamica leather. It's the first and only microfiber that guarantees environmental sustainability throughout the entire production cycle.
Any white
made from-
seats that I'm like, these are white seats for our people that are just listening. Any white seat is technically color changing if you shit your pants.
One bad period away from changing it.
Red and
Yeah,
blue
it's made
combo. I
from-
like this. Very America.
Clothing, flags, and plastic bottles is what it's made from.
Gives
It's
a
made
welcome-
from plastic bottles, so it's all recycled. The vehicle is purely recyclable.
The leather is.
Oh, so it's not real leather. It's straight up just pleather.
Yeah,
It's
it's like
plastic leather.
it's like
It's
fucking
vegan
Toyota.
leather.
Toyota
It's
does
like the
this.
shit my couch is made out of. Like, oh, you want to think it's real leather, but you took the cheaper option to save $1,000.
What do you have Napa leather in your seats now? What do you think it is?
Bitch, my Cherokee is from 1999. That is full on cloth with the cigarette burn holes from 2002 still in it.
I mean,
I don't think it's real leather most of the time in cars.
even Toyota has pleather in it. And they have Lexuses too. They don't use real leather. They never really have.
Look at this shit though. You notice something about? Oh, hang on. Before
There's
we get
no
there,
steering
you
wheel.
notice something about?
There's no
Notice
steering
something
wheel.
about this picture?
No steering
There's
wheel.
no fucking steering wheel. You use this thing. You just put your hand on it, and you push it
How
forward like a fucking Xbox joystick.
Oh, there's going to be
does
so
it
many dead
automatically?
people.
So no. Here's my thing. If it's already kind of autonomous, right, and you're just pushing forward, does it read the roads kind of like a Tesla does? Where as long as you have hand right there,
Hey, Paul.
you can just move forward and back.
Shut the fuck up and just read. For example, when driving, the neurons flow from the outside of the vehicle. When changing direction, the energy flows to the corresponding side of the vehicle. It uses biometric connection with the driver and increases his awareness of the environment. The digital neurons flow from the interior into the exterior. So basically, it's using hand neurons to flow.
Yeah, I'm calling bullshit. This car is not going to be mass produced, and this is not hitting our roads for another 15 to 20 years. I call it right now. I'll put $100 on it.
There's a neural connection at the base of the neck too in the seat.
So you have to be leaning back the entire time to drive.
Does it automatically know the speed limit too? So it's like you can't just full on gas it. It's like, no, sir, you have reached your max speed limit.
The outside world around the vehicle and the surrounding area is shown in real-time 3D graphics, and at the same time shows what is happening on the road in front of the vehicle. So all of this digital inside of this vehicle shows everything that's going on outside.
Passengers become aware of the various forces of nature that are not normally visible to the human eye, such as magnetic fields, bioenergy, or ultraviolet light. That's what's being displayed on that dash.
Shut the fuck up.
Future.
Oh, so that's why they did this thing with Avatar, you know? You got to literally have your hand on it so you're like, attaching yourself to the car in order to drive. So that thing on the hand in that picture, if you can go back up right, Logan. Is that something is that like a key? You kind of have to have that, or is it just giving an example of like your palm has to be touching that? Or is that something you actually have to have on your palm?
It's just showing where you would connect.
That's the tattoo. They give you that tattoo when you buy the car.
It's
you actually have to get an implant right now.
Yeah, it's got a microchip in it. Yeah, so here's a closer look at the wheels. Those are kind of wild.
Oh god, those wheels are wild.
Look how low it is.
Yeah,
does it raise? It has to raise. There's no way, because like the potholes in Ohio alone would fuck this thing up.
Oh my!
What? Ads.
Look, I'm all for it. It looks great, but I'm gonna say it again. I don't see this just driving around our roads for like another 15 to 20 years.
Hey, Paul,
I don't see it.
Can you do me a favor, Paul? Quit fingering your microphone. I can just hear every single click, 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 click.
I'm not fingering my microphone.
You're fingering your microphone. I just heard it. Yeah, caught your ass red-handed 4K, bitch.
That's me muting it. It really, like, you hear me click that? It shouldn't. You shouldn't hear that.
Oh, I do. I don't know. Well, we know what Logan watches.
Porn.
All right. I really hope they talk about the wheels. But yeah, I mean, even in America, this road would not survive. You're talking perfect pavement. I mean, this is definitely a track car. Ooh, I can hear it. Oh. I do like how the baffles on the side rotate, they turn, they flip. It's pretty cool.
My name is Felix. I'm a Danish TV host and car fanatic. Can we drive?
Unfortunately,
Felix, shut the fuck up.
So for everyone that's listening to the podcast, you can't hear the video that we're playing, which kind of sucks. But it's just a description of the car basically moving forward. He's using his hand there.
He just said steering is so last year.
Steering wheels are so last year. What's funny is
it's driving.
Oh, this did come out in 2020. This video.
Look.
Oh, he's crip walking that car, Brian.
It's all-wheel drive. Oh, look.
Here's my thing. Is that just that they're not going to go any faster, or like every video I've ever seen of this thing on TikTok or here now,
it's always slow.
They've been going this speed. They're not.
I mean, it's a prototype.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to break it.
But like the new fucking prototype for the Chevelle drives faster than that. The new prototype for the new Ferrari with a joystick drives faster than that. And yeah, I said that. They have a Ferrari that's controlled with a joystick. There's no steering wheel. It's a joystick.
Anyways.
Kind of wild. That's all I wanted to see.
That's a cool fucking car. I'm glad you brought that to my attention, Logan. I really... Oh, I gotta switch. I really hope... yeah, I really hope that this is something that could be put on the streets. But again, until the infrastructure of the United States or most countries develops better to the point they can bring roads up to date, I don't know. Cars are cool.
So
I don't think it's the future of transportation, though.
right, but like we see that, right? We see more manufacturers going away from kind of steering wheels. And I was talking about this with Burke earlier, like the joystick with Ferrari that they're releasing for the new Spider. It actually makes sense because like a joystick, you push forward to go forward, you pull back to slow down or stop, left, right, and like it's beautiful. Like you're sitting in that car, you can probably look it up too, Logan, but you can sit there. It's off to the right side and it's angled, so when you're pushing it, it's like a throttle, like you're in a spacecraft. And it is so freaking cool. Like, can you imagine not having a steering wheel anymore, and you're just like, hey, Maverick punching it, pushing the joystick down?
That'd be pretty cool.
It would be different. I mean, there's different things. I
just-
like how them thinking out of the box for getting away from the steering wheel. Like, I like Mercedes with the little hand thing. That's cool. I like the idea of the joystick, but like, what else could we do other than those two things? I feel like those are the two options we're picking from.
I have a great one. Not for steering, but getting rid of keys in general. I think you should have a seat that when you buy your car, you sit in it, you press a button, and it scans your butt cheeks, and it knows the owner of the car
Tells you
by
if you
their
have to
butt
poop.
cheeks.
Oh,
I mean, that could be a feature like fecal matter detected in 32 minutes. Find safe destination. Here's a route for the cleanest bathrooms. That'd be cool. The shit car.
clean bathroom finder
Yeah.
application comes with the car.
I was actually thinking about starting a blog of like, so I live in Cape, right? So I figured go to every single building in Cape and go to their public restrooms and put a scale together of the best restrooms to go to, like a restroom finder for this area, and then maybe blow it up and allow other people to add into it. I think that'd be cool. But yeah, that's badass. Let's take a shot to that. I'm gonna drink my Diet Coke through a straw. Paul disappeared. Is he playing with somebody's feet?
No, I'm reading the chat right now, looking at Hollingsworth saying drink, and then your wife saying looks like a
Stasis
pod, and yeah, like I'm just reading all the chat right now.
Oh, fair enough.
But I am gonna drink, Connor.
Yeah. Did you want to
Or
talk
that's
about?
not Connor. That's freaking my buddy that I work with. That's freaking Jared. Jared, I'm drinking.
Oh, a lot of Hollands. So let me ask you, Paul. You brought up somebody earlier today.
Yes.
You wanted to talk about him because I have his bodyguard. I could
So
talk
we're drinking. We're getting a little. Well, me and Logan are drinking. Connery's not. Many of you have probably got on Netflix and before that heard of John Mcafee. And the new documentary came out, and it is definitely something. And it's something that I wanted to bring up and talk about because there's a lot of controversy and conspiracy floating around this man. A lot of people are like, hey, he didn't kill himself. He came out and said, like, I'm not going to empty myself. I love my life, blah, blah, blah. And then he ends up, quote unquote, hanging himself. So like the documentary is crazy. You get to see the real craziness of McAfee. And like how nutty he really was as not just a billionaire, but also the information that he had on multiple governments throughout the world, including the US, Belize, Honduras, fucking a couple, European countries. And he was going to say when he, if he died, he had a set timer to release documentation of the corruption of the United States government, the Belizean government, all these governments, if he was killed.
And
well, he died, and there was a timer, and the timer went wild. But then, obviously, we had that structure, where it was under his name that collapsed in Florida. Connery, you live in Florida. Remember that building that collapsed? Yeah,
Holy
that's
fuck.
the building that held the documents and the computer to release it. So now there's more conspiracy saying that building purposely was blown up or collapsed to stop the spread of the documents to worldwide.
okay, so for starters, this for people that don't know, in Miami there was a building collapse. It was so significant throughout the entire state that all jurisdictions had to update their building codes because of this building collapse. For starters, if you are a multi-billionaire, why the fuck would you put it in a shitty condo in Miami?
Right. And that he had it there, I guess, for years, and he owned that building before he was, under hunt from the United States government and so on and so forth. So there's a bunch of stuff going into that, and then like the documentations and the corruption throughout our government, police government, and so on. But then he was in the documentary. He can come off kind of very paranoid. But then it always seemed like he was kind of right. The documentary, I would definitely say, was a little biased towards his favor. Obviously, it was done by Vice and in his perspective and people following him. He's like, "Hey, I'm going to get arrested," and sure as shit, like he got arrested. Like he just seemed to know, like when shit was going downhill, and they just were there to capture it. The only thing they didn't capture was when he had his heart attack. But still, this man in jail while he was, where was it? It was in Spain. He was in Barcelona under U.S. Customs. Tweeted out, because he was, I guess, allowed to have his phone in Spanish prison. I don't know, white collar prisons maybe. Said like, if I ever decide to kill myself, which it won't, like, or no, what was it? It was like, I have the food here is good. That I've made friends here. Just know if I were to hang myself, if I was to hang myself, yeah. So
there will be no fault of mine.
Oh, is that
there we
Burke?
go. That's Burke. Yeah, he's right here. It'd be no fault of mine. So he was going around saying, hi guys. He's going around and saying that it would be no fault of his to hang himself. And then a couple months later, boom, he's suicided. So there, you can see how there's a lot of conspiracy, get your tin hats on, of surrounding this man. I mean, he owned the largest malware and security software. I mean, Intel bought it for $7 billion.
Yeah, if you've ever had a computer, especially a Windows computer, it comes preloaded with the McAfee software.
Yep. But it's funny because after this whole thing happened, now it's not preloaded from Intel with McAfee. It's preloaded with Norton Security. And so you're like, is there something maybe because of what happened with him, this documentary and his name, that they're wanting to sell off McAfee or rebrand, quote unquote, McAfee security software? So that's what I kind of want to talk about is, what do you guys think on this? I mean, there's a lot of people on the dark web that are saying like this man was straight up murdered and he did not hang himself.
I mean, it's another one of those things. He was probably Clintoned. He probably had information leading to the arrest of Hillary Clinton, and he accidentally posted it on Twitter, and then 2 hours later he's hung.
I don't know if it was 2 hours, a little while later, but he tweeted out, that if I Epstein myself, it was no fault of mine. So like he was pretty much saying like, I'm happy. I have good food. I have friends here in jail. And there was a picture of him he posted in his cell, and he said, here's the exact quote: "I am content in here. I have friends. The food is good, and I am well. I know that if I hang myself, a la Epstein, it will be no fault of mine." And this was at 2 p.m. October 15th of 2020.
Holy shit.
He died in 2021. January 2021.
We've left out an important detail here, though.
What is that?
Didn't he kill himself just after the Spanish court authorized his extradition to the U.S.?
That's what they say, because they were also saying that they were trying to accuse him of murder of his wife that he said he loved, and all kinds of things. And he was saying that, and then all of a sudden they said that, it came out in 2021. Like this came out, and they're going to extradite him to the U.S. And then he was like, they came out late, a little bit later, as soon as they were moving him. So he moved cells. He was no longer in the cell he was originally at or block he was at. He was moved, and then all of a sudden he was dead. So that's why conspiracy theorists are like, they moved him and then to kill him. Like they moved him to a cell with no security cameras to watch him how he died. Kind of how Epstein died. We have no video cameras. We have no proof of him doing it. And all of the security cameras were down. So it just, all of these things had to have lined. And that's why conspiracy theorists go crazy with this stuff, is like everything had to line up just right in order to get to where we are now. And that is sketchy. There has to be something weird here.
There was this giant pump and dump that I know McAfee did with $13 million worth of cryptocurrency.
Right. But before I get to that, I wanted to state one thing before we get on to that. Remember what happened with Epstein. He was in a cell. He was moved from that cell, and then he died. And this exact same thing happened to McAfee.
Yeah.
And the coincidences when you line them up is just very
fucky.
Weird.
Couldn't I go commit a crime and then say I had information on the government publicly, and then kill myself and say that if I die, the government killed me? Couldn't I? I'm not saying that that's exactly what happened, but playing the devil's advocate, could I not do that if I knew I did something wrong and I wanted to light a fire?
Yeah, you could, but I mean, you're not
You get what I'm
a
saying?
billionaire, you know, that has had. I mean, if you think about it, I would imagine the McAfee software was also downloaded on a lot of government computers, right?
All of them. That's why he had this information. He was the government contract for security.
Yeah,
He had all top secret clearance. He
and
had shit.
Blackwater.
Yeah, he had shit on shit on shit for major government corporations and throughout the world, not just U.S., not just Belize or Honduras, like overseas in Europe, overseas in freaking Saudi Arabia, everything. Everyone liked to use him for his security software, and he had a shitload of info on a lot of governments, and he made a lot of enemies because if they try to come after him, he's like, "I'll just release your info." Yeah, not the best tactic in my mind, I would say, but
I actually only knew about all this stuff because of Jimmy, Jimmy
Jimmy
Gale
Hoffa?
Watson. Yeah, Jimmy Gale Watson. He was the bodyguard for Pat McAfee, and he's
Not Pat McAfee. Don't you
Yeah,
talk
sorry,
bad
not
about my
Pat
Pat McAfee.
yeah.
Damn it.
Anyways,
The legend that he is.
yeah, but he's on TikTok. He's the Mighty Warrior 2022. He's on
Yes.
house arrest because of the whole the courts thought he was
John.
involved. Yeah, John McAfee.
Yeah.
In the crypto, pump and
I
dump.
mean, since John McAfee is gone, Pat McAfee has to replace him and be the best McAfee. So hats
Well,
off, Pat.
fair enough. Fair enough. I don't know. It's an interesting world. I think it's pretty fucking nuts. But yeah, is it a yeah, he probably was killed by Clinton. What do you keep disappearing to? Are
mean-
you sucking those toes, Paul?
No, I was actually ordering B-dubs.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, here's the
That
thing, though.
Korean sauce, my boy.
It could go either way, I think. I really do. He could have realized that he was fucked because he was coming back to the US and then been like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm going on my own terms. Because, let's say maybe even he did have the information and he knew he was going to a black site.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like maybe he did have the information, but he was like, no, I'm not gonna deal with American justice. I'm gonna do this on my terms.
Yeah, I mean,
Because it's public for how long before people forget that you're in a prison somewhere overseas?
we know the
Right.
next person that's going to be killed by the U.S. government's going to be Snowden, right? Once he gets extradited back here.
He's not gonna come back.
He's not getting back.
No, hopefully not. Be nice for a new fresh batch of nice leaks. I mean, it was around the same time. You guys remember the Fappening?
The what?
The Fappening?
Is that like people jerking off or something, like fapping?
Okay, so yeah, apparently you don't know. I think it was the beginning of the pandemic. It was the Great Fappening. That's what they called it. It's where a bunch of iClouds of celebrities were hacked and all of their nudes were posted throughout the internet. You remember that?
No. This is new to me, sir.
That was called the Great Fappening, and it was around the same time that Edward Snowden, all of the government's information was released. I remember I was like, man, if I want to research something, I can research something. If I want a jerk, I got the Fappening, and it was both leaked information. It was crazy.
Isn't it great, the internet? It's terrible and great. Like if you want to search something, whether it be celebrity nudes or fucking conspiracy documents released, you can do all of it on the internet. It's a fantastic time to be
Or
alive.
look at concept cars. You can do that too.
Oh yeah, there's that. I showed Lauren "The Internet Is for Porn." She never heard that song. You guys remember that?
No.
So grab your dick and double click. "The Internet Is for Porn." That was a great music video.
Was that from a show?
I don't know. I know it came out like 15 years ago. It was one of those original like internet YouTube videos that just was hilarious. Like what in the butt. It was around the same time of those songs.
Gotcha.
What do you mean what in the butt? I've never heard this. What
I
internet
said,
song is that?
what in the butt?
You want to do my butt in my butt?
Is that a thing? That's a
No,
song?
we'll show you it later, Paul. But it's an actual song. Anyways, I have something I want to talk about. You gonna just sit there?
What do you want to
quietly?
talk about?
Oh, there we go. Finally, thanks. I'm glad somebody asked.
Tell me.
So I was on Reddit, right? And it was across the page about.
Will you get to the point? No, I'm kidding.
You
I'm
son
sorry.
of
Is this a
bitch.
rabbit hole all of a sudden? Did you dive down a rabbit hole again?
I did, and this is 6 different things that I dug into that are all kind of related in some way or another. So in 2011, a South Korean mall had to be evacuated after a 17-person dance class matched the natural resonance of the building and caused it to violently shake for 10 minutes.
Hang on. You know,
Repeat
you know what
yourself?
honky tonk means, right?
No.
White people hitting it hard. So that's what I was saying.
I mean, it was Korean people. Hey, Paul, you want to learn some Korean? You say it to stupid people. It's called munchon. Yeah, munch on these nuts. Anyways.
Got him.
Got him. So, it got me thinking, natural resonance. So every single building, every single thing in the world has a natural resonance that it stays in, right? That's what forms and keeps the formation of the object, right? So it's the exact reason why militaries marching on bridges can't march in rhythm. Otherwise, it can match the natural resonance of the bridge and cause it to fall apart. It's catastrophic. Did you know that, Paul?
Yeah, I didn't know any of that. So like, just because of the rhythm themselves and them making it, so I mean, it's the same thing with like glass. If you hit a certain frequency, it'll shatter the glass. It's the same thing with like a bridge. You hit a certain frequency.
Think about it like this. You match the natural resonance of what the object is. It causes it to just fall apart. It's not being held in place anymore because the outside area of it is reaching a decibel that's causing it to just fall apart. It's vibrating.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got me thinking even more. The moment I read that on the article, I was like, okay, natural resonance. There could be a weapon of that, right? This is the conspiracy side of it. So in 2005, did you know the Aurora Borealis, you know, those cool things you see up in Alaska and around the
I've
north?
seen them.
Yeah. We actually man-made one of them in 2005 using resonance. So there's a conspiracy theory laying around the U.S. military and one of their bases that they have in Alaska. Out of there, they have this device, if you will, called it's short. So it's called HAARP, HAARP, not AARP for the old people, but it's short for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. Now it's under a strange category because it uses natural resonance and high decibels to change the sky, if you will.
I just looked up what it sounds like. Do you want to hear it?
I do want to hear it. I do.
Okay.
I really
it goes,
do.
oh yeah.
Sorry. I can't with you right now,
Motherfucker.
No, you got us all. You really did. Hey, but here, back to the HAARP thing. They also are the same government enterprise or whatever organization that has the giant sound radio. What are those fucking things called? Sound dishes to listen to outer space.
Yeah.
Same government organization, HAARP. They listen to outer space to see for deep space transmissions for alien or meteors or whatever potentially coming to Earth.
Yeah.
That's kind of creepy. But my second question, I guess, my first question is that I'm getting to you. How are they going to be able to make an Aurora Borealis using these frequencies when we've always been taught the Aurora Borealis is like accumulation of radioactive material from space that's getting trapped in our upper atmosphere from our fucking
ionosphere. So the U.S.
Yeah.
So why the HAARP exists kind of answers that. The U.S. military is interested in the ionosphere because of a portion of the atmosphere plays a role in transmitting radio signals. HAARP sends radio beams into the ionosphere to study the responses of it, one of the few ways to accurately measure the inaccessible part of the atmosphere. HAARP operates out of Gacona, Alaska. So they use high-power radio frequency transmissions that basically perturb the atmosphere, which can cause a borealis effect. Now, some people have even said that it's related to earthquakes, because if you think about it like this, and this was the rabbit hole that continued after I researched all of this, was, okay, Tesla. So Nikola Tesla worked on something that actually it's an oscillator. So in 1898 at 48 East Houston Street in New York, he created a device called an oscillator. So I'm glad I have your attention, Paul, you ADD bastard. Oh, he's gone. He's gone in the rabbit hole. He looks hammered. Anyways, so he made this little machine, and this little machine could basically fit in your overcoat pocket. Quote from Tesla himself: "I was experimenting with vibrations. I had one of the machines going, and I wanted to see if I could tune it to the vibration of the building. I put it up a notch after notch. There's a peculiar cracking sound that pretty much emanated from the building. I asked my assistants where the sound came from, and they didn't know. I put the machine up a few more notches. Then there was a louder cracking sound. I knew I was approaching the vibration of a steel building. I pushed the machine just a little bit higher. Suddenly, all the heavy machinery in the place was flying around. I grabbed a hammer and broke the machine. The building would have been about our ears in a few minutes. Outside in the street, there was pandemonium. The police and ambulances arrived. I told my assistants to say nothing. We told the police it must have been an earthquake. They never knew it existed." So he was able to make a device that could fit in your overcoat pocket, and essentially it's causing it's beams that are able to move up and down rapidly, and it was adjustable to cause vibrations. Well, because he had it in the building, it was matching the vibrations of that building. The building naturally produces the natural resonance of the building, and he almost toppled a building. It got my thoughts going even further. What could that do to a human? So I found out today if you could do a sonic weapon, would your head explode?
We already have that. We use sonic weapons. We designed one in like the 70s.
Yeah. Well, it's you've ever been to a concert?
Yes.
Okay. Your body is being exposed to around 110 decibels, right? That's the one where you can feel it in your chest. It makes you a little disoriented. Logan's been to one where he threw up. It can cause dizziness, confusion.
Yeah, because that was because of the decibels, right, Logan?
Probably.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So you can hear a very low frequency sounds at levels around 88 to 100 decibels, down to a few cycles per second. So it matters on the cycles per second as well as the decibels that are being emitted, right? Levels above 140, it's going to cause pain. But the primary effects of infrasound are not your ears, but the rest of your body. So essentially, you're feeling this throughout your entire body. A fun fact,
right.
Your head would basically explode at 240 decibels.
That's wild.
However,
absolutely. So wait, my question is like, because we always hear those things are in video. This could be absolutely off the wall and not even close to right. So what decibels do your eardrums burst? Because like your eardrums would burst before your actual head would. Because like you wouldn't actually hear it then. It would be the vibrations you would feel, and you'd get nauseous and then puke.
No,
and
like
because we use that as a torture method.
No, your body starts to come apart.
Right. I get that.
The sheer sound. Like, I'm not talking about like.
We're not talking about eardrums popping. We're talking about your body falling apart.
I get that.
If you fell at a height that could literally obliterate your bones, like if you hit the ground, yes, your fingers are going to be obliterated, but your arm is too.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where you get.
Like it's the same thing. Like your eardrums would burst, but your skull is also gonna.
I guess
break.
Where's the difference? There's a range, obviously, is what I was saying. Like here's this where you're having fun. Here's where death is. Where is it like your eardrums burst, where you're not hearing anything, you're just feeling the vibration technically. What decibel would it be? I mean, that's probably like I said, it's left field. I don't know.
About 7-11.
About 90.
I'll get into that. So there was a guy named Vladimir Gavaru, and Vladimir Gavaru in the 1950s, he was basically brought in to do the scientific studies of effects of low frequency vibration on people stuck and affecting people's whole bodies, right? So he was essentially launched into a series of experiments on the effects of infrasound on human subjects, with results, as reported in the press, ranging from subjects needing to be saved in the nick of time from infrasonic envelopment of death, that damaged their internal organs to people having their organs converted to jelly by exposure of a infrasonic whistle. He was able to make a whistle that could turn your insides to jelly. By the time 166 decibels is reached, people notice breathing problems, essentially causing your lungs to fall apart.
Nah.
Yep. Supposedly, though, Gavaroo had patented these, and they're on the basis of a secret government program into infrasonic weapons. These would definitely qualify as acoustic weapons if you believe easily accessible web references. However, when this person that I'm reading from their article of something that I dug up, when he started digging deeper, I found out that while Gavaroo did exist and did acoustic research, he had actually only written a few minor papers in the 1960s and described human exposure to low frequency, not infrasonic sound. And none of the supposed patients existed. Subsequent and contemporary papers in infrasonic research that cite his work at all do so in the context of pointing out the problems of letting the press get a hold of complex work, if you will. So, yeah, weapons do exist. Yes, you can be melted. Yes, it can destroy buildings. Yes, it can cause earthquakes. Yes, it can control the weather. Devices exist that can do all that.
So here, connecting things then. Don't you think it's possible that we could, I don't know, take out a building in the middle of a downtown area to hide national security that could, I don't know, maybe jeopardize all of the United States and the well-being of their government?
Or you could put this device that's essentially able to fit into your coat pocket on a building and have that building collapse, such as like a nuclear power plant.
All I'm saying is that we had the heart attack gun. We have this now. Like, I feel like there's a lot of things where our government is just like, you don't need to know this.
I dug deeper.
Steel beams.
I dug even deeper though. I said, okay. In 2019, though, there was this thing about the global hum. Did you hear about that?
The what?
The global hum. There's this mysterious global hum.
Oh, yes. I saw videos on the TikTok of that. Is eerie. That is creepy.
So up to 4% of people, though, are saying they hear a strange low-pitched noise known as the hum, but no source has ever been found. Some people are saying it's in the city. However, even people that are living in the countries are still able to hear this sound. Could it be correlated to vehicles all stopping and going at the same time on the roads? Could it be airplanes flying over at the right path and they're crossing over, causing a vibration or through the airwaves? I mean, essentially, we're exposing ourselves to different ways your body can be impacted by resonance. And I sound like I'm starting to listen to myself as I talk, and I sound like a fucking crystal person. You know what I'm talking about? Like this crystal arranges your natural resonance.
Don't hate on crystal people. My sister's one of them. She believes in that stuff. You know, it is whatever. To each his own. People believe in a bunch of different things. So
can I believe a rock? No, I believe a rock has its own natural resonance where you could match the vibrations of it and it'll break. Does it emit it though? Does it emit
we don't
resonance?
know. I mean, I don't think so. But I mean, again, people believe different things. You know, people around the world believe all kinds of crazy shit, and you just got to rock with it. But the resonancy thing is I'm still hung up on that, like making it a weapon in a sense. Like, imagine being on like if we made this an actual weapon on like a warship, right? And you could just point it at another enemy warship where the ship itself would just sit there ringing. Could you imagine sitting on that ship and just seeing the water around it rippling as this warship's like crumbling to a pulp? Or, oh my God, I can only imagine it. So, it's like the death ray when people were like, oh, the death ray is going to be a thing, or the rail gun. Like, you guys have heard of the rail gun, the space rail gun that we were working on?
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Well, that's apparently done. I don't know if you guys heard.
Yeah, everyone knows about that, Paul. Everyone knows about that.
Not everybody knows about that. You didn't know that was done. You know that's done?
Yeah, it's on TikTok.
That we have it armed. It's in space right now.
Yeah, sure.
You're lying. I can know when you're lying. You're full of shit.
Well, I'm still talking about something. The reason why all of this kind of correlates together is telegeodynamics.
What is that?
Using the oscillator to be able to communicate two different pieces of technology throughout the world. You can essentially use this vibration, and Tesla made this, right? In 1894, he created the reciprocating machine. While the fundamental operating principles of Tesla's mechanical oscillator are well understood, little has been said about how the machine would be used for underground prospecting. So he's saying that he invented this technology to detect ores, different types of ores, as well as oil underground. However, he could also say the electromechanical oscillator was originally designed as a source of isochronous, alternating electric current with both wireless transmitting and receiving apparatuses to it, using it as telegeodynamics, talking to other pieces of machinery through vibrations across the earth. Could that be related though to the global hum? Motherfucker, you're not even listening.
I don't think that's related. I think the global hum might be something different.
So the hum is experienced as a constant low-pitched noise, much like the sound of a large truck idling in a nearby lot. Hearers tend to report experiencing it in urban areas, leading some to conclude that it is in fact a form of noise pollution. But it's said to cause the same symptoms as those that have been exposed to the oscillation or the noise frequency that's being experienced with HAARP when that was still being active, such as dizziness, headaches, and pressure.
I mean, it makes sense though. Like I said, we use it for torture now. If we want to get someone to talk, we'll put on a high frequency noise or whatever. It makes them nauseous. It makes them want to throw up. And I mean, people hear this worldwide from this hum too for a long period of time. I remember watching this TikTok where the guy's like, I just feel sick. Do you guys feel sick? And they're hearing this loud, like humming in the air. You don't know where it's coming from. So, I mean, it's always a possibility. Like I said, you get your tin hats on. Like it's definitely 100% a possibility. But at the same point, it could be something completely different in left field that we don't even think about. I don't know. There's too many variables, I guess.
Well, I mean, I did kind of correlate something from 1984 all the way up to modern times. So yeah, I mean, it's a massive fucking stretch. But what if, governments are using this technology to cause earthquakes, to cause...
But why? That's my question. Why would a government need to cause an earthquake or just
why did we invent an atomic bomb?
Yeah.
To end World War, bruh.
Yeah, imagine if you're able to topple an entire country by cracking it in half from the other side of the globe, and they wouldn't ever know it's back to you. They just think it's natural.
I guess that's true. I guess that's better than actually, like, I don't know, flying a plane over top of it and dropping the sun on their ass.
Yeah, I mean, look, if here comes the sun, fucking hell. All right.
It's a beautiful morning.
Man, I really got a tan today, guys.
Bomb up in the sky.
That is radiation poisoning.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is kind of, I mean, yeah, now that you put it that way, it makes sense. I mean, we just started testing nuclear bombs again as the US did. I don't know if you guys saw that too. Last month, we restarted testing nuclear weapons, which is like, why do we need to do that? I thought we agreed on not using nuclear weapons ever again, but whatever.
I think we should just fuck around and find out if California pisses off the United States, activate HAARP, cause that fault line to just separate California from us and see if it works. Why not?
See, that's scary though, because that fault line does actually, there's a V. So right, that fault line comes together and it V's into, I don't know, the largest super volcano on the planet.
Paul disappeared when he said
that. I did, because I leaned in to be emphasizing as much. Yeah. And because I'm in my little lair back here. But like if something like, say our government actually did that, like they're like, you know what, let's test it on California, like, or some shit down the future, like that would end the world. Like if that super volcano decided to erupt, that's not affecting just the US, that's affecting everyone on the planet.
Do you remember back in the day when you were watching the History Channel with your parents or whatever, and they talked about the Yellowstone volcano, and for a good year, that was the biggest thing you had to worry about as a kid? You're like, guys, the volcano's going to erupt anytime and kill everyone, no matter where you live.
I mean, it still can. It's just we kind of grew on to our next natural disaster because there's plenty of them.
Unless you're a cockroach.
Or a jellyfish.
So, Connery, you're good.
Anyways, I don't know. I thought natural resonance, I thought it was a fascinating fucking topic. I definitely am going to do more research into it. But I learned a lot. I learned a lot today. Nikola Tesla is a
So-
badass motherfucker, though, for starters.
What I want you to learn for the next topic, right? Since you dig and dive in deep for this, you went on resonance and a weapon for that. Look into weapons from, weather, right? So there's a lot of people in the conspiracy and people that have messaged us to talk about the weather weapon and how the U.S. government and other governments are making things to be able to change, including HAARP, yes, including HAARP, which is why I was bringing that up, to change our weather and the weather around us whenever we want to at will. So my thing is if we can change the weather at will, why haven't we done it in areas where there is drought?
All right, I'm going to throw a prediction on and we're ending this podcast. My prediction is there's going to be a massive hurricane that strikes Mar-a-Lago.
Sorry, Trump, you're screwed.
Could you just imagine QAnon immediately saying, the Democrats have a weapon to destroy Trump's house in Mar-a-Lago? I can see it now, the headlines.
It's just so he won't run again.
God. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to tune in. Look, it's a hit or miss with the live, but you can always guarantee that the episode's being released on Monday at 6.
No, I think the live, we should stick to Saturdays. We just got to build a following, guys, so tune into us. I mean, we're going to stick, I think, with Saturdays. We'll finite a time that's better for everyone that we think. So far, 6, it wasn't bad. If we need to go to 7, 8, whatever, we're going to listen to our viewers. But I think Saturday's not bad. I do apologize. We can't do Fridays anymore. That is my fault. So if you want to yell at me, go ahead and email us and then yell at my ass.
Yeah, eat his ass. Thank you guys so much for listening to Drunkscussions podcast. Be sure to find our merch. You can also now find it on Streamlabs. We have some high quality tie-dye merch, some baby onesies, whole 9 yards. Look, I'm going to be a daddy by the next episode. So hopefully this baby drops it like it's hot within the next few days, because let's be honest, this limbo of waiting is terrifying to my face. I love you guys so much. Thank you for listening. You can email us at drunkscussion.crew@gmail.com. Watch us on Twitch, I guess every Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or stay tuned for our episode dropping wherever podcasts can be found at 6 a.m. Monday morning Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys so much for listening. Peace.